All right, guys. I am going to be absent on Monday. My son woke up sick, so I will have to stay home with him. So we will proceed as normal with whoever your sub ends up being. So today you're supposed to be having your rough draft of your research of your paper rocket labs done. Really done to the point where you should feel good about turning them in if you had to. What we're going to do today is called a peer review process. So there's going to be two documents. There's going to be this rubric, which is a modified version of what I'll be using to grade your paper, right? And then I did print out, which should be something you've been using, the outline for you to have a hard copy of. What you're going to do is everyone should get one of these rubrics and one outline. On the rubric, there's a space where it says author of paper, okay? Author of paper, and it should say peer reviewed by. On your own paper, all right? Go ahead and do it right now. On both sides of the paper, you should write your name where it says author of paper, okay? Both sides, your name where it says author of paper, all right? Then what you should do is find a partner. Preferably, I'd like your partner to be outside of your group that you actually did the experiment with, so you have kind of a fresh set of eyes. And what you should do is you should take your rubric that has your name where it says author of paper and your computer and trade with someone else. So give them your computer and hand over your rubric to them. All right, that person will do the same to you. They will hand you their rubric and their computer, right? You should then, okay, after you have your partner's rubric and your partner's computer on their rubric, right? So it would say their name. All right, now that you have their rubric, let's pretend I'm reviewing someone's thing. All right, I would write my name where it says peer reviewed by on that person's rubric. Okay, then you should go through their paper line by line by line using this outline. All right, kind of double checking that they have every little bullet point listed. Okay. And giving them feedback, right? So the directions say on the rubrics here, please use this space to carefully read over your classmates' paper. For each category, please circle a check, check minus, or check plus. If giving anything other than a check plus, please write comments as to why that person didn't earn the highest mark. So on this paper, don't change things on, don't really touch things on people's computers, okay? If something needs to be changed, you find a typing error. Let's say in their hypothesis, they didn't give an explanation like the outline said, or let's say maybe they didn't include their methods or their procedures of how to launch their rockets, okay? That would be a comment you would write on this rubric here, right? So, okay, you didn't include your explanation for your hypothesis, okay? Or your hypothesis wasn't in if-then form, right? Or you only had one graph, you should have two graphs, okay? Those comments or spelling errors, grammar errors you find, all right, go ahead and don't change them. Just go ahead and write those comments in this section, right? There's also a space on the bottom just to kind of write generic comments if you think there's anything else that needs to be looked at, or good or bad, right? You could write some positive feedback on that as well. All right, if you're flying through this and reading this in a couple minutes, you're not really doing your partner a good service, okay? The goal is you're finding those mistakes for that partner, all right, or the things that could be improved upon, because if I find those mistakes on Wednesday when I start grading it, then obviously that comes with me docking points off. All right, so then when you're done reading your partner's paper, you should hand their computer back to them, and you should hand the rubric back to them, right? So now they have those comments, okay? You should then find another person, again, ideally outside of your group, to do the same thing. Hand over your rubric, right, that has your name under the author, okay, and your computer to them, and then they would hand their items to you, okay? And then you'll do that same process at least twice, right? If you have time to do it more than and just to have someone else read it, the more the better, right? Or if you have extra time, you could use that time to make some of those changes that were suggested by your your peer reviewers, okay? So in the end, you should be walking out of class with a rubric that has your name under the author of paper, and two different people front and back have reviewed it, giving you feedback, good and bad, for you to make those changes to submit a final draft on Wednesday, okay? Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully I will be back on Tuesday to clear up any questions, any immediate needs. I will have my computer at home and might be able to check an email here or there So feel free to try to shoot me an email, and I'll try to get back to you if I'm able to. All right. So hopefully see everyone on Tuesday.